nearlydanish.com.
All right, thanks, man. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So this is frequently asked questions part 3. Okay, so someone asked, has a new subchapter been added to the website? Although that was you, Justin. Can you please provide the links to the chapters you were talking about? And a whole bunch of other questions we've answered before. So if you've missed any of the sessions, so in the previous session, I did a whole breakdown and analysis on the test and how to approach it, or at least how I have approached training people the last 4 years with a lot of success. So I would suggest that you catch up on that previous session. Where can you find that previous session? There is a YouTube channel, okay? It's called Nearly Danish TV. So just go to YouTube and search for Nearly Danish TV. Look under playlists. You will see Infosatkorn Kahoot sessions, winter 2023. So this is from last time. And watch the previous session. I also posted this in the group today at 5 o'clock. So have a look at that. Just a comment. So the pass rate of this test is about 50%. So 50% of people that take the test fail the test. And the most recent test, the pass rate was 58%, and that was above average. The average is about 53, right? So I am expecting the next test to be very difficult. Now, what does that mean? I'm expecting that there will be more new questions than frequently asked questions. For the people that were here last week, hopefully you understand what I mean. For the people that were not here last week, please watch that video where I explain things, okay? Now, what does that mean for you? What that means is you need to practice, practice, practice. It's the same plan, the same strategy, same everything. You get out what you put into this thing. There's no shortcuts. That's it. Practice, practice, practice. Go to the website, nearlydanish.com. Practice with all the quizzes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go to the YouTube channel and watch the video from last week. All right, that's enough talk. Let's start playing. Okay, so Denmark is a member of the European Union, but Denmark has some reservations in their policies. So one of them is that Denmark does not subscribe to the euro. So Denmark has its own currency, which is the krone. Denmark also does not subscribe to the EU's udlændingepolitik, so the foreigners policy and the union membership. So I will reiterate, this is frequently asked questions part 3. Every single one of these questions, you need to know the answers to these questions. So there's about 181 of them. You need to know the answers to every single one of them. There is no exception, okay? Why do you need to know the answer to every single one of them? Because any one of these questions might show up again, okay? How many people got this wrong? 19 people got this wrong. Well, You're gonna hear me say this over and over again. Now you know what you don't know. Now I have a sound effect for it.
Now you know what you don't know.
All right, next one. The usual suspects in the top 5. All right, oh man. Okay, I know what the problem is here. Only 3 people got this wrong. Sorry, 5 people got this wrong. Like I said before, this is a frequently asked question. Sorry, guys, I need to switch the mic because my computer's making a lot of noise. I need to switch this to the headphones. Let me see. Can you still hear me? All right. Right, we're moving on. Next one. Simba is the highest climber, up 9 places.
Excellent.
Hopefully you all get this right. Wow, I'm actually shocked. Oh, sorry, I'm actually reading the thing wrong. Okay, so this is the Nobel Prize in Literature. I thought this was Niels Bohr. Right, okay, so this is the first time most of you have seen this. This is Johannes V. Jensen. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature just before the end of the Second World War. 36 people got this wrong, 36 people got this right, 25 people got this wrong. But the people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
All right, plug that knowledge gap. Next one. I don't know who fell out. Man, I'm a bit distracted today, so forgive me. 24 players have reached the answer streak of 3.
Great job.
Next one. All right. 10 people got this wrong. Saxo wrote Gestadanum, and it's a mixture of mythology and Danish history. The book was written in Latin in the 1100s. Okay, so just as a show, how many people have been practicing on the website? So just type yes in the chat. How many people have actually finished all the quizzes on the website? All right. Okay, so we still have 80, just over 80 days to the test. Ideally, what I recommend is finish those quizzes, basically every single one of them. So basically go through the website like 3 or 4 times with that strategy in mind. Make sure you score 80 to 100% on every single one of those quizzes, okay? Right, moving on to the next one. Okay, so 14 people got this wrong. These numbers are not looking too bad. So round of applause to the people that got this right. For the 14 people that got this wrong, Bertel Thorvaldsen is the most famous sculptor from Denmark. And there is a museum named after him, very close to the parliament. It's a big yellow building. And you can go in there and have a look at his works. And he is also buried in that building. All right. For the people, like I said, for the people that haven't been practicing on the website, please put in the work, okay? And don't wait until the last minute. I know some people like the last minute rush, but please don't wait until the last minute, okay? Start putting in the work, make your life easier. This was a combo breaker. 3 players dropped their answer streak of 4. Sorry, guys. At the moment, we still have Tanker at number 1, Peanut number 2, Luca number 3, Justin, and Abdullah. And I think this was a static top 5.
Static top 5.
All right, next one. Right, 19 people got this wrong. As Gayon is one of the more contemporary artists, and his art kind of broke away from traditional art, which was mainly landscapes and the human form, and his art is abstract art. So he splatters paint on canvas and stuff like that. You can find his artwork at SMK, close to Norport, right next to the Botanical Gardens. And at SMK, you can actually go and look at the history of Danish art. So every single person that is mentioned in the book, you can find their artwork on the walls, and some of the people that are not mentioned in the book as well. I would highly recommend that you go check that out. It's very interesting and also very beautiful. All right, on to the next one. Okay, so Houston is now at number 3 on the podium. The museum's name is Statens Museum for Kunst. So the National Art Gallery in English. It's right next to the Botanical Gardens. It's at Norport, so just a bit further down. All right, so 7 players lost their answer streak of 5. Sorry, guys. Next one. All right, round of applause. So majority of you have got this information in your heads. Only 5 people got this wrong. Jan Utzon is the architect that designed the Sydney Opera House in Australia. This, frequently asked question, as are all the questions in this Kahoot. This is a question that you definitely need to know the answer to. Okay, on to the next one. Victoria is back with an answer streak of 3, and she's on fire.
She's on fire.
All right, next one. Hopefully you all get this right. All right. Only 7 people got this wrong. It's called Dannebrog. And the myth is that Dannebrog fell from the sky during, I think it was a crusade in Estland. Estland is Estonia, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, Estonia. And apparently Dannebrog fell from the sky, and because of that, Denmark won the war. but I think from 1219. So Dana Paul celebrated its anniversary, its 800th year anniversary in 2019. All right, on to the next one. Someone fell out. Amelia is now in. Ghosh is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
On to the next one. Seen this before? Oh, shucks. Yes. That's a mistake. But neither of them are right. So yes, it's the Queen and the Minister sign new laws. Sorry about this, I'll fix this. This is a mistake. But anyways, for the 8 people who got this wrong, now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
Plug the knowledge gap. This is an FAQ. All right, seems like the competition is between Houston and Booker. Amelia is holding that number 5 spot. Type A players have reached an answer streak 4.
Excellent.
All right, next one. Everyone should get this right, I hope. Except one person. Round of applause to the rest of you. For the person that got this wrong, the name of the current queen is Queen Margaret II. On to the next one. Baby K is making a comeback with 3 in a row, and she's on fire.
She's on fire. Great job.
Next one. You know the answer to this? Well, almost all of you except 3 people. So the Queen has the speech on New Year's night every year, without fail. 3 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
Please plug that knowledge gap. This is an FAQ. You need to know the answer to this question. You need to know the answer to every single one of these questions, okay? At the end of this session, I will show you where to find all this information on the website, how to practice, and so on and so forth. For the people that already know this, like I said before, I apologize if I sound like a broken record, but I need to sound like this because this is actually how the brain learns. Repetition, 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 and by trial and error, okay? Daniela is back with an answer streak of 3, and she's on fire.
She's on fire.
Excellent.
Right, next one. Wow, this was bad. Okay, 25 people got this wrong. So at the end of World War II, there was a lot of refugees from Germany, about 240,000 of them from Germany. This is an FAQ. Well, for the people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. Plug that knowledge gap. You need to know the answer to this. It's just 240K, that's it. Just the number. All right, Amelia fell out. SA is now in. 4 players just hit an answer streak of 3.
Great job.
Excellent.
Tanker is still holding number 1. Peanut is at number 2. Houston is at number 3. Luca holding 4, and SA just came in at 5. On to the next one. Right, so in the 1960s, Denmark had 8 for guest workers, and majority of them came from Pakistan, Turkey, and former Yugoslavia. 10 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Next one. Houston fell out of the top 5. Sorry, man. So Luca took Houston's spot now at number 3, SA at number 4, PR at number 5. 8 players reached an answer streak of their team.
Great job.
Okay, next one. Let's see if this is actually right. Yeah. All right, so there's about 5.9 million people in Denmark. Population of Denmark is about 5.9 million. So 3 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Next one. All right, static top 5.
Static top 5.
He is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
We have got 31 questions to go. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Actually, not so bad. Let's see how you guys do on this. Okay, only 14 people got this wrong. So Son Kierkegaard didn't make it out of the 1800s. Neither did H.C. Anderson. They were contemporaries. Son Kierkegaard actually died very young. He died at the age of 42 or 43. And I think I read somewhere that him and H.C. Anderson were friends. In any case, you can actually go and have a look at his grave. He was buried in Assistance Cemetery in Nauvoo. I have had a look at it. There's many Kierkegaards, and there was hard to actually find which one was him. All right, 14 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Plug the knowledge gap. On to the next one. Okay, so Peanut fell out. Luca is climbing these charts, man. Round of applause. This was a combo breaker. 3 players lost their answer streak of 5. Sorry, guys. Okay, on to the next one. This should be a no-brainer, but let's see how it goes. All right, so the next biggest religion in Denmark is Islam. The biggest religion in Denmark is Christianity. All right. To be fair to the people that chose Catholicism, the very first time I ever saw this question, I actually thought it was Catholicism, but it's not. It's Islam. All right, and also Catholicism is categorized under Christianity. Okay, moving on to the next one.
Static top 5.
Okay, so Mans is making a comeback with an answer streak of 3. I'm not sure if it's a guy or a girl, so we have a round of applause. Next one. Sonia, don't worry. It's okay, just play the game. I know it could be competitive sometimes, but you know. All right, so 3/4 of the population are members of the Danish People's Church. 12 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Plug this knowledge gap. Round of applause to the people that have got majority of the questions right. Good job. Keep up the good work, keep practicing. And if you can manage to stay on top of things, stay on top of the practice, stay on top of the questions, stay on top of the book, you're going to be done with that test in 5 to 10 minutes. I'm speaking from experience. I was done with my test in about 5 minutes. Although I made a stupid mistake, I was done with the test in 5 minutes. I don't recommend that you actually finish the test in 5 minutes. Take your time, read the question slowly, read the answer slowly, go ahead and answer. But you're going to be done quickly because you're well prepared. All right, so we're moving on to the next one. For the people that got this wrong,
Now you know what you don't know.
next one. Damn. Luca fell out, man. Sorry, man. Okay, so someone is asking, how can so many people be a part of 4K when there's so many nationalities and religions? Tradition, man. Tradition. All right. Yeah, just said it. Okay, so Ru is the highest climber, up 5 places.
Excellent.
On to the next one. This is a no-brainer if you've been in Denmark for the last 5 years. But let's see how you guys do. All right, only 4 people got this wrong. Round of applause if people got this right. So Santan's Afton comes from, I think it's the birthday of some, can't remember exactly, but it's supposed to be you're burning the witch at the stake. Of course, people don't believe in that stuff anymore. However, they keep the tradition. And it happens on the 23rd of June every year. All right, on to the next one. SAJ is back in the game 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Someone is asking for the confused code. 1 second, I'll paste it in the chat. Right, so at this point, it's a static top 5.
Static top 5.
We have Tanker, SAPR, TR, and Peanut. Houston and Luker, who were competing for that number 3 spot, completely fell out of the top 5. We have some new names, and of course, we have Tanker, who has been dominating this since May, basically since January 2023. I'm going to post this guy. It's actually amazing that you still remember the answers to every single one of these questions. Oh, by the way, this is what's going to happen as well. If you put in the work and you practice, you're going to know so much about Denmark. It's going to be crazy. You know, it's like what happened to me was I wasn't interested in history at all before I took this test. And then I took the test, and all of a sudden, I'm like a history buff now, you know, especially Danish history. And I finally kind of understood Denmark. Before it was kind of like it was hard for me to get, you know, to understand why things were the way they are. But after this test, I was like, okay, kind of get it. Anyways, enough of the talk. On to the next one. Seen this before if you've been practicing. Man, only few people got this wrong. Round of applause. So NFS Kunstwig was a priest. He also wrote a lot of the songs in the Danish hymn books used in dance folkirke. Coincidentally, I was at the wedding, and one of the songs that we sang was written by him. He also inspired Folkehøjskolen, which was primarily his push to educate the children of the farmers, the peasants back in the day. So he was a big advocate of education and enlightenment and inspiring curiosity for the young people. He shows up in almost every test. In Folzak's poem and Melbourne Escape's poem, I think he's going to show up again. It's good that the majority of you actually know him and are familiar with his work. Only 3 people got this wrong, so please plug this knowledge gap. Okay, on to the next one.
Static top 5.
8 players have reached the master streak of their team.
Excellent.
Okay. Next one. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
All right. 19 people got this wrong. This is talking about, in Denmark, there's different lengths of education you can take. So you have the focus schooling, and then you can go on to university to get a bachelor's degree. And if you want to keep going, you could go ahead and get a master's degree. If you want to keep going, you can go get a PhD. And this question is about the long education, which is the master's degrees and or PhDs. And that takes between 5 to 6 more years than your Folkehøjskolen, so your HF or HX. This test, this question actually, I think, showed up in 2019. I remember seeing this. I got this right, so hopefully if it shows up again, you also will get this right. But the 19 people that got this wrong,
Now you know what you don't know.
please plug that knowledge gap. All right, next one.
Static top 5.
All right, Ellie is back with an answer sheet 3, and she's on fire.
She's on fire.
Okay. Next one. All right, round of applause. Okay, so 8 people got this wrong. Tanker is saying he made a mistake. Is that enough to get him away from number 1? We will see. Homosexuals have got the same rights as heterosexuals when it comes to marriage in Denmark. And they got those rights in 2012. 8 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know from the knowledge gap. This is an FAQ. Let's have a look at that top 5. All right, so PR jumped 2 spots to get the number 1 spot.
Great job.
Tango fell to number 3. SA is holding number 2, TR and Peanut at number 4 and 5. MN is back in the game 3 in a row, and
Oh my! He's on fire!
Okay. Next one. We are halfway through now. Ah, I gave this away. Damn. Oh man. Okay. Well, let's see who was listening. If you all get this right, I'll give you an explosion. So let's see. Kind of knew this was gonna happen. So I guess, anyways, the people that are listening are listening. 11 people got this wrong. So when I was talking about the answer to the previous question, I actually gave away this answer as well. So homosexuals got the right to be married the same in the church, the same way as heterosexuals. They got that right in 2012. 11 people got this wrong. Now you know what we don't know. So moving on to the next one. Let's have a look at the top 5. All right, Simba is the highest climb up 3 places.
Excellent.
Next one. Okay, so before the Reformation, Denmark was the Danish church was under the Pope, so it was a Catholic church. And then Martin Luther came with his Protestant ideas in 1536. There was a break from the Catholic Church in Denmark, and the king created Dansk Folkekirken, installed himself as the head of the church, and declared that Denmark was a Protestant country. This was more of a political power thing than it was religious. And this happened in a lot of the countries in Europe. And this was because a lot of the kings in Europe were not satisfied with the fact that the Pope had so much power over them. So the Pope had the power to crown and uncrown kings. A lot of kings did not like that. Therefore, they broke with the Catholic Church. 12 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Hopefully, you will listen to my explanation. That helps to build context around these things. This is frequently asked, so please plug that knowledge gap. Next one. All right, so Tanka is climbing the charts yet again. Victoria is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
She's on fire.
All right, next one. Houston, you're right. So Denmark and Sweden have actually fought the most wars between each other than any 2 countries in the history of, well, the recorded history of mankind. They were at war all the time. 5 people got this wrong, not too bad. Round of applause to 57 got it right. For the 5 people who got this wrong, now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
Okay, so Tanka is back at number 1. PR holding the number 2 SA3. Peanut for TR has 24 correct answers in a row.
Wow!
Perfect score.
And he or she is on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. right, so in the 1600s, Denmark lost one of their wars with Sweden. As a consequence, they lost Halland, Bleking, and Skåne. Skåne actually is where Malmo is. So that region, it used to be Denmark, and unfortunately, Denmark lost some of that land. 20 people got this wrong, so that is pretty significant. Now you know what you don't know. This is an FAQ yet to know. When was what? So this is in the 1600s. It's in the question. All right, we're moving on to the next one. And this reshuffled the top 5. Okay, Tanka is back at number 1. Peanut, number 2. Dracula, 3. Anna, 4. Houston is back in the top 5 at number 5. 3 players just hit an answer streak of 8.
Great job.
Excellent.
We have 20 questions to go. So in 1661, the king consolidated his power, created the absolute monarchy. I think Denmark was the first absolute monarchy in the world. That means basically the king was the ruler and his word was law, and he wasn't being controlled by the nobles, which was the case before, and he wasn't also being controlled by the Pope, which was the case before. So he was his own entity with all the power. This lasted up until 1849 when Grundlov, the constitution, was written, and then Denmark became what do you call it? Parliamentary democracy or something like that. Anyways, so we have 21 people that got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. What's 2 people got this right? Please plug that knowledge gap if you got this wrong. Static top 5.
Static top 5.
4 players reached the answer streak of 5.
Excellent.
Next one. Oh man. Okay. My voice better? Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, what's going on here? I wasn't paying attention. Styles bundle Okay, so yes, so Stounds bundle. So basically, back in the day, the nobles forced the king to create a law that made it impossible for people that were born in a certain region to leave that place up until they were 40 years old. The reason they did this was to guarantee free labor, free/cheap labor on their land for the foreseeable future. However, that law was abolished in 1788. The law was introduced in 1733, so it lasted for 55 years, which was quite a long time. Sometimes there are questions about when it was introduced, and sometimes there are questions about when it was abolished. In this case, the question is about when it was abolished. 24 people got this wrong. This is definitely a weak spot. So please plug this knowledge gap. And there is a monument close to the central station that symbolizes the end of this law. It's this big white statue. All right. Like I said before, you know, like after taking this test and knowing all this knowledge, sometimes you're walking around in the city, you see things and they don't mean anything. But all of a sudden you see things and you're like, oh, okay, so that's what this means, or that's what that means. So it kind of brings the city to life. Information like this. Moving on to the next one. Okay, static top 5 still.
Static top 5.
Yes, in Copenhagen, very close to the central train station. 4 players have reached an answer streak of 6.
Excellent.
On to the next one. Okay. Hopefully you got the answer to this in my explanation. In Copenhagen. It's in Copenhagen, yes. All right, round of applause. So you guys are actually listening this time. Yes, a lot of the landmarks talked about in the book in Copenhagen. The new section actually talks about areas outside Copenhagen. Okay, so 6 people got this wrong. The people whose rights were hindered with the law were the peasants, the farmers. And they were the ones that used to basically stay on the land, work the land, and pay rent to the nobles. And that was done in agreement with the king. So basically the rich were getting richer and the poor were getting poorer. So on and so forth. Next one. Man, this top 5 is not moving, eh?
Static top 5.
3 players hit an answer streak of 7.
Excellent.
Next one. We talked about this in the previous Kahoot. Wow.
Wow! Great job.
Okay, so 1864, the Second Schleswig War. Denmark lost that war, and as a result, lost Schleswig, Holstein, and Lauenburg. However, at the end of World War I, which was in 1920, Denmark got the opportunity to reunite with Sønderjylland, which is basically all 3 of these. And I think 1920, 2020, the 100-year anniversary was in 2020. So it's been 203 years since the reunion of Denmark and Sønderjylland. 3 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Let's have a look at the top 5. Not much is going on here. Daniela is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
She's on fire.
Next one. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so September for Leo. So this is it's the settlement that happened in 1899. This is actually where the collective bargaining started, and it's actually another name for this is the Arbeidsmarkedsgrundlov. So the labor market constitution was set here, and it's endured up until this day. There is still collective bargaining going on between the employer organizations and the employee organizations. 19 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. You need to know this. You need to know every single one of these questions. I will repeat, there's about 184 of these frequently asked questions. You need to practice them and get them all in your head, because any one of these could show up yet again. Lee is back with an answer streak of 3. The people in the top 5 seem to be the elite players. Tanker, Peanut, Dracula, Anna, and Houston. Round of applause. And this one is for Lee.
She's on fire.
Read it slowly. All right. 21 people got this wrong. I was actually expecting a bit better numbers. Round of applause to the people who got this right. So 1924, the first female minister was appointed by a social democrat, Torvald Stauning. He coincidentally was the first social democratic prime minister. He appointed Nina Bang as Undervisningsminister, the education minister. And yeah, that's about it. She shows up a lot. Sometimes they ask who was the first female minister. Sometimes they ask when was she appointed. So keep that in mind. Nina Bang, 1924, Undervisningsminister. On to the next one. Kurt is the highest climber up 5 places.
Great job.
Next one. I gave this away, yeah? Hopefully you were listening. Yep. Okay, I guess I guess 10 people were not listening. I gave this away. Okay, so please listen to what I'm saying, okay? Because all this stuff I'm saying is actually irrelevant. I gave the answer to this in the previous question. Torvald Stauning was the first social democratic prime minister. He won the election 1924, and his government appointed the first female minister in 1924, okay? 10 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Plug the knowledge gap. 4 players hit an answer streak of 6.
Excellent.
Static top 5.
Round of applause to these elite players in the top 5. Keep up the good work. We've got 13 questions to go. So, in the next session, we are going to be doing a mock test. So let's see if you guys will do well in that. Okay, so we'll get asking some advice for the 2 specific. Okay, so this is about the Second World War. How many people got this wrong? Exactly half. So 30 people got this wrong, 30 people got this right. So when Germany invaded Denmark, they forced the Danish government to work in cooperation with them. Denmark had no choice, so they agreed. And however, around 1942-43, there were a lot of sabotage movements. Coincidentally, there is a museum about the Molstandsbevægelse. It's actually a basement museum. It's very, very, very interesting. I would highly recommend that you go and check that out. So a lot of Danish people were sabotaging military equipment, all kinds of things, logistics, etc., etc., and also working in cooperation with the Allied nations. The Germans said that they wanted to institute the death penalty for some of those crimes. The Danish government disagreed, and the Germans insisted, and the Danish government said, you know what, were done working with you guys. And that partnership broke down in 1943. Yeah, that's the explanation for this. If I've missed anything, all of this stuff is in the book. So please read that book, okay? I highly recommend it. Read the book. Houston is dropping some gems in the chat, so have a look there as well. Houston, by the way, I think he has finished all the quizzes on the website. Great job.
Great job.
Keep up the good work. For the 30 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. We're moving on to the next one, yeah? Static top 5. Buddha is back in the game, 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. You've seen this before. All right, it was the Jews. This is the second time. If you've been practicing, this is at least the second or third time this question has shown up. For the people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. Please plug this knowledge gap. This is one of the more frequently asked ones. So you need to know this. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so Dracula has made a move, is leading by 31 points, is leading Peanut by 31 points. Tanker, Dracula, Peanut, Anna, and Houston holding that top 5. Bear is making a comeback with 3 in a row. I'm guessing it's a girl, so.
She's on fire.
Okay, we have 11 questions to go and we're done with this. Okay, so the 5th of May, 1945, Denmark was liberated and the Nazis left Germany. Yeah, that's it, basically. How many people got this wrong? 19 people got this wrong. This is important information. Get it right next time. You're going to see it next time, okay? So, oh, man. Dracula fell out. Okay, so sorry, man. This is a super competitive group, so any mistake is gonna knock you right out of the top 5. We have Tanka, Peanut, Anna, Houston, and Luca. Luca is back. Round of applause, man. Okay, 3 players just hit an answer streak of 4.
Excellent.
Next one. Everyone knows this. There's been no explosion so far. If you all get this right, we'll see what happens. Wow. Okay. No explanation needed. Davis is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Round of applause to all of you. Manos, don't worry about it, okay? I know people get super excited when it comes to these cahoots and, you know, you're emotionally charged and all that. Remember that the exam is not a Kahoot, okay? The test is not a Kahoot. When you get in there, you're probably going to be hearing my voice in your head, and you're probably going to be hearing the Kahoot music in your head as well. But please remember that it's not a Kahoot, okay? Go in there and take your time. In these Kahoots, I give you 20 seconds to answer the question. In the real test, you get 1 minute. So you get a lot of time. So keep that in mind. All right. Next one. Okay, so the Cold War started right after the Second World War, and the Cold War was an arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union at the time. How many people got this wrong? 21 people got this wrong. So I can see that this is a weak spot. Hopefully my explanation made sense. By the way, please, what I say, I'm not the holy grail of information, okay? I've been doing this for a long time, but I do make mistakes. So don't take my word for it. Always cross-check the book. Always put in your own work, okay? Practice with the quizzes. As you practice with the quizzes, the book becomes easier to read. I know the book is boring. I fell asleep. I tried to read that book like 3 times. I always fell asleep in chapter 1 and I just gave up. However, if you can make it through chapter 1, then you can get through the rest of the book. Doing these quizzes, doing the quizzes on the website will help you get through the book quicker. And it will also help, or it'll kind of help your brain focus on the important information, because there's so much information in that chapter 1, it's crazy. 21 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
Plug the knowledge gap. We're moving on to the next one. Anna is now at number 2. Shout out to Anna, man. It says, I know nothing is making a comeback with 3 in a row. You do know something, and you're on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Excellent.
Okay, we have 8 questions to go. Next one. All right, so 11 people got this wrong. In the 60s, a lot of Danish young people started breaking with tradition. And one of the areas where there was a lot of critical questions was surrounding the nuclear family. People started creating families without actually getting married, and young people started living together in collectives, amongst other things that were going on around that time. Before we move on, I want to show you guys something. I keep talking about the quizzes. If you haven't already found out where these quizzes are, you can find them at nearlydanish.com. Okay? It's going to ask you, which test are you taking? Infosat's porn or Melbo escapes porn? For Infosat's porn, you can find the book here, and you can find the quizzes here. So I'm talking about these quizzes. This is the book. By the way, the books have been updated. So if you click on any one of these, you get the latest book. Now the quizzes. You'll find all the previous exams. I highly recommend you do that. The frequently asked questions is actually what we're going through right now. We are on this one. I always say, make sure you do all the quizzes. Okay, so what's the recipe to pass this test? I will show you right now. Okay. The secret sauce to passing the test is this. Get familiar with the questions. There's just, that's like 1,000 something of them, okay? I filtered, so there's a lot of You can create so many questions out of that book, but I kind of filtered it down to like the most important ones, okay? Get familiar with the questions. Make sure you go through all the quizzes more than once until you're consistently scoring 80% and above. Then rinse and repeat. Reading the book becomes easier as you go through the quizzes and vice versa. In the end, you'll be surprised that you know more about Denmark than your home country. It worked for me. It's worked for a bunch of people. I'll show you one of the people it's worked for. Well, some of the people it's worked for. I always mention this guy in particular. He scored 100%, and he did not read the book. And that's him saying it there. However, I do recommend that you read the book, please. Another person scored 100. There's a whole bunch of people that scored 100%. So please, it's not rocket science. It's not hard. You just have to approach it a certain way to do well. Okay? All right, we're getting back to the quiz now. Sorry, to the Kahoot. Okay, we have 7 questions to go.
Static top 5.
OMO is back with an answer streak of 3. And I think she's on fire. It's a she.
She's on fire.
Okay, so Claudia is asking me, am I still planning an in-person meeting to practice? Yes, I am. Please show some interest in the chat if you are interested in meeting in person. Just type a yes if you'd like that. Moving on to the next one. Okay. I'll try to organize something, and I will announce it in the group. Damn, this was bad. Okay, 34 people got this wrong, man. Okay, Paul Schluter was the head of the Conservative People's Party, and I think he had the longest streak as a prime minister in one go. So he was prime minister for 11 straight years. He was the first prime minister from the Conservative People's Party and the only prime minister ever from the Conservative People's Party. Okay. We're moving on to the next one. It didn't touch anybody in the top 5. Shout out to the people in the top 5. Round of applause, man. Okay, so 5 players dropped their answer streak of 5. Sorry, guys. You've got 6 questions to go. So 2002, no, September 11, 2001, right? That was the year, that was the day that the Twin Towers, the planes crashed into the Twin Towers. George Bush declared the war on terrorism, and Denmark supported those invasions by sending soldiers to Iraq and Afghanistan. 7 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Round of applause to the people that got this right. This was actually one of the questions in the May 2023 test. These questions are not always asked the same way. But if you read them slowly, they're asking about the same thing. I always recommend read the question slowly, make sure you understand it. The test is not a Kahoot, okay? You're gonna hear me say this over and over again. The test is not a Kahoot. Take your time. You've got 1 minute per question. Read the question slowly, read the answers slowly, and then make up your mind. And I highly recommend that you do not go back and change your answers, because I see a trend. You know, people, I've seen quite a few people that after the test, they come back to me and say, oh my God, I changed one answer at the last minute and I got 35 out of 45 instead of 36 out of 45, and ended up failing the test and having to pay that money again next time. So please try and get it right the first time. We got 5 questions to go. Static top 5.
Static top 5.
Manos is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
Next one. So Anders Fogh Rasmussen, who was the previous prime minister, became the general secretary of NATO in 2009. FAQ as well. 24 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Nyla is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
She's on fire.
Peanut jumped Anna to the number 2 spot. We've got Tanker, Peanut, Anna, Houston, and Luca. 4 questions to go and we're done. You've seen this before, or we've talked about this before. Okay, so in Denmark, power is split 3 ways. There's legislative power, judiciary power, and executive power. Executive power is with the government. Legislative power is shared with the government and parliament. And judiciary power is with the courts. That's what this question is about. 15 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Plug that knowledge gap. Luca is out and Sassy came in at the last minute with 3 questions to go. 3 players just hit an answer streak of 9.
Great job.
On to the next one. Ah, man, I gave this away, yeah? Let's see if anyone was listening. Well, at least 19 of you were not listening to what I was saying. So, this is about the executive power I just mentioned, and the executive power is with the government. All right, now you know what you don't know. Plug that knowledge gap. Next one. Okay, Luca is back. 6 players reached an answer streak of 4. Let's finish this off so you guys can go to bed. This is a no-brainer. Man, okay, one person got this wrong. The Danish parliament is called Folketing. Okay, one person got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Don't get that wrong next time. SAJ is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
Last question, and we're done for tonight. This is also a no-brainer. Round of applause. Explosion. All right. Well done. Everyone got this right. Last question. Let's have a look at the podium. Anna at number 3, and I think Peanut, right? Yeah, Peanut at number 2, and of course Tanker at number 1. We've got Houston and Luca. Okay, Houston and Luca at number 4 and 5. Well done, guys. Let's have a look at the rest.
NearlyDanish.com.